Hello poodling around us, how are we all today? Today I've got something really interesting for you, as I'm going to be talking a little later on to Deborah Black, the Sports and Field Manager at Grasmere Sports, or to give it its correct title, Grasmere Lakeland Sports and Show. This event has been in the Lake District's calendar since the 19th century, as we shall hear. But what do we know about Grasmere? The Lake District, as some of you will know, is in the English county of Cumbria, but it was formerly, before county names changed, in the historic county of Westmorland. Grasmere's most famous resident was the poet William Wordsworth, often regarded as England's finest, and most associated with the poem Daffodils and Wandering Lonely as a Cloud. William arrived to live in Grasmere in 1799, taking over the tenancy of the rather compact Dove Cottage in the town end part of the village. This former pub became home to himself and his sister Dorothy, with whom he reunited, with the siblings having been separated during childhood following the death of their parents. Life was by no means fancy at Dove Cottage, but this period was described as one of high thinking by William. The local area inspired him, and he said that Grasmere was the loveliest spot that man hath found. That led to him living in Grasmere for 14 years at both Dove Cottage and Allen Bank, before moving up the road to Rydal Mount. Many famous visitors came through the Wordsworth door, most notably Samuel Taylor Coleridge and Thomas de Quincey. But what of the village? Well, Grasmere, which lies on the A591 between Ambleside in the south and Keswick in the north, has its own lake, 1,540 metres long and 640 metres wide, which is fed by the River Rothay. The village is overlooked by a rocky hill, which has two colloquial names, the Lion and the Lamb and the Old Lady at the Piano, due to the way its shape appears from different sides of the outcrop. Its official name, however, is Helm Crag. It is stunningly beautiful and can still attract creatives to this day, with a pop star Sting having had a home in the village for several years. The village is not just known for Grasmere sports, but also for Grasmere rush bearing, which is centred on St Oswald's Church, where you'll find the Wordsworth family graves and see yew trees planted by William. Rush bearing sees a procession of local people bearing rushes and flowers, which are taken to the church. The village is also famous for secret recipe gingerbread, rather delicious and brought to Grasmere by Sarah Nelson in the mid-1850s. It's now a worldwide phenomenon, selling all over the globe. From her writing, we know that even Dorothy Wordsworth was a fan. Grasmere has lots of fabulous retailers, but one recent star is the Hurdy Company, a contemporary brand of housewares and much more, which is based on the iconic Lakeland sheep breed, the Herdwick. Just across the road from Grasmere Gingerbread, which you can usually distinguish by a long queue outside, you will find the Storytellers Garden, a National Trust venue, which I suppose is the outdoor theatre of Taffy Thomas MBE, a storyteller extraordinaire, who is often joined by other outdoor performance artists as he entertains children and adults alike. So if you are in Grasmere, don't forget to stroll around the lake, spot red squirrels, and even follow in the footsteps of William Wordsworth by hiring a rowing boat. But of course, do remember that if you want to breathe in the very essence of Grasmere and Lakeland life, the very best time to do that is during the Grasmere Sports event, as we shall now hear from Deborah Black. Good morning, Deborah.
Good morning, Jane.
How lovely to speak to you. Are you well?
Oh, very well. It's glorious here.
So we haven't had a Grasmere Sports since 2019. So how excited are you to be planning the 2022 event?
Oh, very, very excited. Like the whole world, we were really disappointed by what happened in 2020. And last year, we tried so very hard to get an alternative kind of sports going, but we just couldn't do it in the end. So this year, I'm really, really looking forward to getting back to normal and just doing this all again. Yeah, we're very excited.
Yes, I can imagine. And I mean, this event has been going now for over 170 years, hasn't it? So how much do you feel that it's been missed in the Lake District calendar, and the feedback that you've had from people?
Oh, I think it's been hugely missed. I mean, the reaction we got when we cancelled just demonstrated how much it really means to so many people, competitors, supporters, people that have been coming for years and years and years. And it was a highlight of their year. So everybody really missed it. I mean, some of the runners, even though the event was cancelled, came along to run the course as normal, so that they had an unbroken run of actually taking part. Even if the sport didn't happen, they were determined to still come and run the route.
For those that don't know, perhaps we should highlight that there are two big elements of Grasmere sports, aren't there? There's Cumberland and Westmorland wrestling and fell running, which I presume are back this year. So let's start with Cumberland and Westmorland wrestling. What is that exactly?
That's quite an ancient sport. It's not unique to Cumberland and Westmorland. There's a theory that it has Viking roots, and in fact, their wrestling goes on in this similar style in Iceland, Britain in France, and indeed in Scotland. And competitors from all those regions regularly come to Grasmere to take part. It's just about the easiest sport you'll ever find to understand. The wrestlers just stand facing each other. They grip their own hands behind their opponent's back. The referee shouts wrestle, and off they go. The aim of the game is to try to throw each other to the ground. And the first person that touches the ground with any part of their body other than the soles of their feet is the loser. You also lose the bout if you break hold. So it's so straightforward, but it's fabulous to watch. It's very, very traditional. There's farming families that have taken part in this over the generations, and they come back each year. There's a World Championship series, and it's just so traditional and keenly watched by the crowd. They love it.
And I think they wear really exciting costumes as well, don't they, that are very different and quite colourful in some cases.
Oh, yes. The traditional wrestling strip is a white singlet and white leggings with velvet pants. These pants are often embroidered, often by their mums and their grannies, of course. And we even have a competition for the best decorated costume. But of course, these are very much kept for best. They're not the strips that they actually do the wrestling in. They're far too precious to do that with. And so they change into a very similar but plainer outfit for the actual wrestling.
Don't want to upset Granny, perhaps, after all the hard work.
Absolutely not.
And so moving on to fell running, how does that work? I mean, the fells are something that perhaps listeners who aren't in the Lake District don't understand what a fell is. I mean, that is sort of the Lake District mountain in a way, isn't it? And I guess fell running takes place on the fells.
Absolutely. We actually call our fell races the guides races, and that takes the name from the local men that used to act as guides for tourists. In the 1880s, when you were well-to-do, you came along to the Lake District and you hired a guide to show you around the place. It involves running from the show field across the main road, which we have to stop the traffic to make it safe for everybody to take part in. But nobody seems to mind. They're quite happy to have the traffic stop for a little while whilst we cross the road. We go up the fell opposite. You get a fabulous view from the sports field all the way up to the top of the mountain opposite, along the summit. And then it's a diagonal route back down through the bracken and everything. And then we reverse the process, stopping the traffic again. And the finish line is on the sports field, so they come running down to some stirring music. And the whole height that they climb is 295 metres. So it's quite a long way up and quite a long way down.
Is it something that if you wanted to have a go at it, could you do that?
Absolutely. I mean, we would ask that, you perhaps have a little bit of practice before you come. There's sort of lots of age groups. The youngest participants are 6, and then we have categories for various ages, all the way up to the senior guys, which is the climax of the sports.
That is the prestige event, is it?
It certainly is, yeah.
And are people fiercely competitive in that event?
Oh, yes. The record is, it was set by Fred Reeves in 1978, and that's 12 minutes and 21 seconds. Wow. It's unbelievable that somebody can do the course in that time. Last time we ran in 2019, we had 3 records set, all by the girls. In the under 9s, under 14s and under 17s, the girls came home with records in each of those categories. So yes, it's competitive.
So exactly when is the 2022 event, and where does it actually take place if people aren't familiar with the Lake District?
Well, Grasmere is on the main A591 between Kendal and Keswick. We are so easy to find. The sports field is adjacent to that main road, just at the south of Grasmere. You really can't miss us. We'll be on Sunday the 28th of August. We open the gates at 9 o'clock in the morning. If you're quick, you'll be able to park on site, but otherwise you'll be parking opposite. And we open proceedings with the bellman. Very, very traditional opening to the sports. He comes along, literally rings his bell and announces that the games are open.
I think that's a job I'd quite like to do, actually. Sounds a good one. So what else is there? We've talked about the fell running and the wrestling, but what else is there to see and do at the event?
Oh, lots of things. Another sort of traditional element is the hound trails, where the hounds leave the sports field to follow an aniseed trail that's been laid for them earlier that morning. And they traditionally finish down the fell in the same way that the fell runners do, ending up, again, we close the roads, ending up on the sports field. And that's quite a sight because the dogs are excited. The owners are yelling for them to come in quickly, and they actually bang their food bowls to attract their attention, and it's really quite a spectacle when they finish.
Sounds it. So that's the dogs that are competing, but is it a dog-friendly event for people who want to visit and bring their dog? Certainly.
We like to think we're friendly for dogs, well, friendly for everybody, really. We have a fun dog show every year. That's really very popular and well supported. It's a fun show. It's run by kennel club judges and things, but the element is on fun and everybody taking part. This year we have an attraction with the little nippers who are joining us, and that is fabulous fun for dogs and their owners. When the dogs are invited to go into the arena and actually have a go following the lure trail around the arena, and that is usually great fun because not every dog's a natural terrier.
Oh, so they're actually chasing something then? What is it, a rabbit or something? Or
yeah, it's a sort of simulated rabbit on a wire that runs around the arena automatically, and so it's great fun when these dogs that are not natural chasers try and take part. Sort of organised chaos, but great fun.
And is it child-friendly, the event? Are there things for children to do as well, apart from watching all of this going on?
Yeah, we like to think the emphasis is on things for people, and particularly children, to do at the event. They won't be bored if they come to Grasmere Sports. We've got all the sort of traditional children's races with the egg and spoon and the sack race, and that sort of thing, which we usually involve the parents to take part in. That's completely done for fun, but very, very popular. And we have what we rather nicely call the long leap. Of course, that's just sort of long jump for children. That's great fun into our sort of sand pit. We have all sorts of races and things. I think the best thing for children this year will be, we've got Wonder Wheelers coming along now. They're a group that are bringing a selection of bicycles for kids to try. So we've got everything from little toddler balance bikes all the way up to bicycles that you have to pedal backwards, which I believe is quite entertaining to do. We'll have a penny farthing and a unicycle and all that thing. So it's great fun.
I think I'm right in saying that you've got something going on with the Armit Museum as well, haven't you, Deborah?
Absolutely. They're really, really interesting. They'll be bringing along a selection of photographs taken from the 1930s to about the 60s, 70s, taken by James Hardman. He was a local photographer at the local newspaper. But they're fascinating historical photographs of Lakeland life. And visitors are invited to come along, have a look, see if they can identify people in the photographs. I mean, it could be your grandparents or great-grandparents. Really, really interesting. And they'll be next to the Fell Gather Roadshow, where we'll have a display of local sheep breeds, including, of course, a popular herd Wicks. But more than that, we've got local farmers that will be able to tell you about what you can see and a bit more about their way of life. So that's a fascinating part of heritage of the area, really.
Yes, because it's really an immersion into Lake District life, isn't it, this show? It's not just an event, it's far more than that, isn't it? It's about understanding the culture of the Lake District in one easy to, I don't know, assimilate way, I guess, if you come along and actually breathe it in for the day.
Absolutely, yeah. We are a World Heritage Site, so come along and visit and find out more about us.
And Grasmere is a beautiful place, isn't it, with lots of history and associations with Wordsworth in particular. So would you recommend that people kind of make a weekend of it and see what the village and surrounding area has to offer?
Absolutely. I mean, you can't really come to Grasmere without visiting the church with Wordsworth and Dorothy's grave, also the Dove Cottage Museum, and of course sampling the gingerbread. But that's just all in the village, where you can spend lots of time. But there's plenty of opportunity to grab some peace and quiet by going for you can go for a full-scale hike, or you can go for just a gentle walk into the foothills. So lots to do for various people.
You've made my mouth water now, because I do love a bit of Grasmere gingerbread.
Yes.
It's completely unique, isn't it? And gorgeous.
It certainly is, yeah.
So, Deborah, can you just kind of sum up, why is this event so special in your eyes?
I think for me, it's the people and the tradition. And yes, it's just part of the heritage of the area. And that's the aim of the sports, is to keep the traditional elements going, but also to move on and introduce new things as well to keep up with the times, really. But for me, it's all about the tradition, the people that make it, the characters, and everybody's just so enthusiastic. It's just a wonderful thing to be part of.
And do you think you could actually attract a new audience this year? Because there's been so many people that have been staycationing. There's many new pet parents out there wanting to do something with their dogs. So there should be a big opportunity to actually bring some new blood into the event, I guess. New people, new visitors.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we don't want to be a well-kept secret. We want to showcase the sports and what we do and Lakeland life to everyone. Yeah, so we're very much hoping that more people will come along and just try us for a year, see what you think about what we do, and hopefully come back again. And there's lots and lots of things for you to do, take part in, and to watch. And it's just a great day out. So, yeah, we welcome everybody to come along.
And the all-important question then, how do people get tickets? And should they buy them in advance? Can they buy them in advance?
Yes, certainly. They will be available from the 1st of July on our website, and they're the tickets that are available at a discount. We've got a great value family ticket as well, so that's well worth checking out at grasmeresports.com. Of course, you'll be able to buy standard price tickets on the gate on the day, and everyone's welcome if you can't commit to coming in advance. But really, I think that's the way to go. Buy your tickets in advance on the website.
Yeah, and start to plan what you're going to do and all the fun you're going to have when you get there, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's hope that, everything goes to plan. A new renaissance for the games after 2 years away. And I'm sure that a lot of people have a lot of fun if they do come along and see what you've got going on there. So thank you very
Yeah.
much for your time, Deborah. It's been really great to talk to you.
You're more than welcome, Jane. Look forward to seeing you on the day.
So there we are. An idea for a perfect day out for you and the family in August, and some idea of what else you can do around Grasmere. What more could you want? Anyway, join me next time for more inspiration. But in the meantime, please stay safe and keep poodling around.